Hi, everyone. It's Carolyn with Modern Widows Club. And today I'm talking to Amber about the Pivot 6-month mentoring program that we have here at Modern Widows Club. Amber, thanks for being here and thanks for being a part of Pivot last year.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to talk to you.
Yeah, right. Well, we got to spend 6 months together from January to June of 2022, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And we related a lot to each other because being younger widows and also having careers and raising children, and I just want to start out by just telling a little bit about what happened with you becoming widowed, and also how did you find Modern Widows Club?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was widowed at 34. My late husband was 39 at the time. And I was, a young mother, and it was unexpected loss. So, which I guess it's all unexpected and shocking, but I felt alone afterwards, not just physically, but emotionally alone, isolated. I thought there's not ever, I had the same misperception that a lot of people do about widows, that, all widows are, have gray hair and are, in the knitting club, and and that's not accurate. And at the time I thought there's not going to be, there's not going to be a place for me in this world now. I felt I could be, I had lots of family support, I was very fortunate, and I'm still fortunate for that, but I could be with my family in a family gathering, and I just didn't feel like anybody understood what I was really dealing with and the emotions I was going through. And they didn't, because they hadn't been through it. So
That's right.
I did go back to work after about a month, and after about 6 months in, a colleague, not a close colleague, but a colleague at the university where I work, reached out to me and said, "Hey, I know somebody. I know another young widow with 2 small children, and she's a part of this local group, and I'd like to connect you." And that's where it went. From there, I attended my first meeting, and I walked into the room, and 2 of the 5 women that were attending had small children, just like me. And I just thinking about it right now, remember the feeling that I had. And it was almost just an instant relief that I had somebody I could talk to, and could understand what I was going through.
That I just recently found this article about the invisibility. We don't talk about the invisibility that happens, right, for widows. Even in our families, we actually feel this intense isolation, right? The understanding who else is like me, right? So that was the moment for you to go, there are others, and you entered into that. Yeah. So then you're fortunate, you do have a local community that is very involved, and that's awesome. But then you found out about Pivot, our 6-month program.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was fortunate enough to, a donor, a generous donor, who you maybe saw that I was struggling and this might be a really great program for me, reached out and gifted me a scholarship to the program. I hadn't necessarily thought about, doing Pivot previously, although I'd seen women discuss it and talk about their, success and how life-changing it was for them. So, after consideration, I, gratefully accepted. And from there, I, didn't know what to expect. And but I was, let's say, like, overwhelmed with the emotions of just receiving something that was going to kind of push me in the right direction with in my widowhood journey.
Yeah, I think the accountability, the powerful part of Pivot is the accountability, not just from the mentoring between me and you, right? There's that happens, but also just the camaraderie between the small group, because there's only 15 of us. And
Yes.
then the guest speakers, that adds a whole nother dimension each month as we go through these pillars of healthy widowhood. And for you, there was a lot of conversations about parenting, about having a career, struggling all of these dynamics in a 30-year-old widow's life. Personally, I felt extremely invested in your life because I had been there. And my greatest desire was to find something like a Pivot, like a widow mentor, like Carolyn. And I became that. And so for you, it's interesting. I think at our age, because it's frustrating to have to ask for so much help. And even when we do are given help, it's like we have this resistance, but you said yes to it. And like you said, you weren't sure what to expect, but really what's most, I think, beneficial is the love, the constant support, you tell me, what was it for you?
Right. So for me, it was the small, intimate group setting that, I have a really hard time being vulnerable with others. But, being in a small group setting with other widows who understood and it wasn't just, having that feeling, but it was being probed and pushed to explore subjects, in the healthy pillars of widowhood that we have at Modern Widows Club, but just being allowing me to be vulnerable to talk about those subjects, and it revealed triggers for me that I didn't know I had just by opening up, and areas where I still have more growth to do. And since then I've been able to work on those areas, and it set me on that path, gave me confidence to address those things. And we try to do it all. Like you said, we don't like asking for help. And sometimes you think that you are okay, and then you realize, gosh, there's still some things that in areas that I can grow. And being in that small, intimate group of women with different widows with different backgrounds, and everyone was just so caring and accepting. And the times that I broke down in certain, I felt at home, and I felt loved, and felt comfortable and confident, even in those moments of vulnerability.
We really cherish those non-judgmental spaces that are extremely safe for us to take off our mask, right?
Yes.
I think at Pivot is the whole experience is everybody take off your mask. Now we're going to be real women, real widows in this experience together. And the whole idea of Pivot is to see our life from a different perspective, being in the widowhood experience, but looking at it from so many different perspectives. I think did that happen for you?
Yes, absolutely. Because you could notice each woman in the group was in a different stage, maybe, very different backgrounds, but we were all able to support each other.
Yeah.
And I was just humbled by the number of members in the group and Pivot that we developed this friendship, and women reached out to me, and members reached out to me to offer emotional support, or support in another way with their knowledge, guidance on my career choices that I was struggling with. So all
Which
of that
did improve.
Exactly. I being in Pivot gave me the confidence to ask for a raise at work, ask for a new position, and
Yes.
know that I'm worth that, and know that
Yes.
I can achieve that. So confidence, it just, pushed me to realize what I should have already knew, and what I did already know, but I didn't feel confident enough
Yeah.
to go for it, to really go for it. So
Right,
with,
right. Because there's so much risk in that, right?
yes,
It's
yes,
you're struggling just to keep some new normalcy in your life. And then you're like, what? I have to strive for a little bit more. That's a little bit scary. Now I'm having to I just got comfortable and now you're asking me to get uncomfortable again. But that's the beauty of it, right? You're right there doing that together. Thank you so much for sharing that, because I think one of the beautiful parts about seeing all of you is you get out and you start expanding, and your confidence does build, and the result of that turns into something different for everyone. And I think at the end, when we get to the purpose and meaning, everyone is sharing that. And you can see in a 6-month span of time, wow, what just happened to all of us. Right. So
exactly that.
when I hope more people do give scholarships, donations for scholarships for Pivot. If they know someone, sometimes that is, the key to the difference between someone being in Pivot and someone not being in Pivot. And I'm so grateful for that donor too, that they were actually able to see the value and how worthy you were of it. I think the trust in yourself, I think the intuition in yourself has improved. That's for me personally what I saw, and has given me great joy seeing you in the program.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you for hosting this, for not only founding Modern Widows Club and being that safe place for all widows, but having this program that can take it just to that next level for us. Thank you.
That's right. That's right. Well, thank you, Amber, so much for this testimony and just your story and the kind of the before and after of Pivot, because I think a lot of ladies may want to sign up. Not sure what's going to happen there, but I really appreciate your time today.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.